Hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel. It's your boy Moody. Today, we see Manchester City obliterate Chelsea in the second half of the game, in a game that was very crucial for Manchester City to win. Because Arsenal yesterday, they dropped points against Bournemouth after a 2-1 loss. Today, Manchester City had to win, and they had a tough match against Chelsea. But Guardiola came in with his tactics, his expertise, the way he knows how to show us what football is, teach us about football. He came in the second half and he flipped the table over on Chelsea because Chelsea started dangerous in the first half. They were dangerous. I thought for a second they will be first to score in the game, but it was a different story in the second half. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. We're about to break down the game, see how it went down, what changed that caused this 3-0 win for Manchester City against Chelsea. And let's get started. As we saw today, Manchester City came into the game, they want to win. The Arsenal lost, they want to make a statement win because the next game for them in the Premier League is going to be against Arsenal and they have a game in hand. So if they beat Arsenal, who they just beat in the EFL Cup final, and then they win their next game, they'll be tied in points with Arsenal at the top of the table. And Chelsea knew that they were going to come in looking for the win. So what did Liam Rizenwar did? He played the same tactic that Guardiola played against Arsenal in their EFL Cup victory, which is have the four front players, the four attackers, press up the defenders and try to push the ball, close in the gaps with two players behind, which were Santos and Cancedo. And Manchester City were locked for the first half. They were locked in. And I think Guardiola realized that, okay, this guy is playing my game. There were about only two chances for Manchester City in the first half. And honestly, even though they possessed the ball, Chelsea looked a little bit more dangerous. They were playing quick in transition. They were going fast and beating defenders of Manchester City. So, going into the second half, Guardiola had to make changes. I mean, he's the creator of this formation. He's the one that is playing with this style of play. So, he understands the flaws. He understands how to crack it. And we've seen that in the second half. In the second half, Manchester City added more numbers to the back. Chelsea dropped. Chelsea thought they were going to throw off Manchester City off their game, but Manchester City persisted. They kept possessing the ball, moving the ball around. They kept playing their game, even though Chelsea were pressing them. So, as they're picking up pace, picking up momentum, Manchester City started moving players up front. Okay, out of nowhere, you see Nico O'Reilly going up. Aguehi was pushing up a little bit extra as Rodri dropped. Okay, you've seen Bernardo Silva moving up a little bit. Cherki was going around receiving the ball. And that's how they managed to get their goals. Cherki was flowing freely, more freely than he did in the first half. They got back their momentum in the second half. And after that, it was just a matter of time for Manchester City to score a goal. Chelsea were I don't think they did much in the second half. Maybe a chance or two. Cherki was going around the defenders, finding players in gaps, and he was exceptional. So for the first goal, you seen, as I said, Cherki was moving freely. So he passed the ball over to Semenyo, then went to receive it back from him. And Nico O'Reilly was pushing up from the other side, left back. He was right next to Holland as a second forward. And Cherki crossed him the ball just like he scored against Arsenal. Two of his goals against Arsenal at the far post. He headed the ball and scored the first goal against Sanchez. Unfortunately, he got injured later in the game, which hopefully is not a bad injury because he's very crucial part for the team at the moment. That was Cherki's first assist, and he started feeling himself. He started doing kickoffs and just being amazing. So in the second goal, he even faked a corner, ran over the ball, then passed a short pass to Doku. Doku passed him the ball back, and he just went dribbling around Hato, dribbling around Esteval, and with a quick glance, he seen Guehi free as the Chelsea defenders are moving up the line. After the corner, he's seen Gahey is free. He's just lurking behind, and he squeezed the ball in with the side of his foot. And Gahey managed to score his first goal for Manchester City since his move in January from Crystal Palace. And just after that, you just see Cherokee feeling himself. The team is just more settled now that they're up 2-0. And they're the crazy fan of Manchester City that's drinking a bottle of Arsenal. Look, I had the same bottle too, Arsenal bottle right here that I was drinking from. And Manchester City was just flowing at the moment. Chelsea had a few chances. Kokorea had a header, a good shot, but they were not that threatening to Manchester City. And then the third goal came. Roberto Sanchez rolled the ball over to Cancelo, who thought he could get out of the pressure, but he had Cherky coming from one side, Doku coming from the other side, and Rodri pushing up from his holding midfield position. He was pushing up from the back. So Cancelo was stuck around three Manchester City players. Doku took the ball from him with no foul, great technique, dribbled the ball and shot it at the bottom right corner of Sanchez, scoring the third goal for Manchester City, sealing the win for Manchester City. It was exceptional domination in the second half for Manchester City. 45 minutes of pure, nice tactical football from Guardiola and his men. And they took advantage of Arsenal's loss yesterday against Bournemouth. I don't know if a lot of the managers are going to be copying what Guardiola is doing, but as we saw, yesterday, Ariola did the same kind of strategy where he had four of his attacking players pressing against the defenders of Arsenal. They came out with a win 2-1. Today, Liam Rosenwar did the same thing against Manchester City in the beginning of the match. And Manchester City were not able to find deep balls, playing the deep balls to Shirky, to Haaland to receive. They only found the wide players available. So that also takes away from the holding defenders getting a lot of pressure on them, like Santo and Cancedo. It was taking a lot of the pressure away from them, and it forces the other team to play long balls and turn the ball over more. So it's a great tactic. It's amazing to see what Guardiola does every single time. He's an impressive coach, the best coach in the world, in my opinion. And I'm happy to see Manchester City win because they play the best football in the English Premier League, and I think they deserve the Premier League title at the moment. They didn't lose to Arsenal in the league in the first game, and Arsenal is just playing more conservative ball, more defending, and they play in transition, looks for set pieces. It's not enjoyable football. They did what they had to do to make it to be the leaders of the Premier League and make it this far in the season as leaders of the Premier League. But we're gonna have to wait and see what happens next because Manchester City will be playing against Arsenal, and I believe it's going to be a tough match for Arsenal because they look deflated at the moment. And Manchester City has a week off. Their next game is against Arsenal. While Arsenal, on the other hand, they have to play the second leg against Sporting first before facing Manchester City. Big week for the Gunners. I'm going to be watching the game live. So come join the watch along and hit me up on the chat. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate you for watching. Thank you for the support and peace out.